Hi guys, Jem here and welcome back to the Colour Cave and to the January Upcrate unboxing. Just a quick word for my regular viewers before we get started with this. This month there will be no videos on Upcrate battles or scroller challenges, and it's because I'm 2 weeks away from moving and I just don't have time to fit it in before I finish packing up the cave. So I know a lot of you look forward to the challenge videos, but unfortunately I'm just going to have to skip that this month. But we will resume normal service next month. Okay, so let's get stuck into this. So Upcrate is the newest subscription box available and it comes from Germany. I'm quite interested to see what's going on. I have recently been quite sort of disillusioned with subscription boxes in general because I am fed up of getting pens and markers. I do not want any more pens and markers in my life, so please, keeping my fingers crossed here. Oh, everything's all wrapped up nicely, so that's good. So we've got our envelope of bump, which we'll get to in a minute. And we have a featured artist, Sarkisic. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So this is almost abstracty. Let's see what it says. Sarkisic, a 23-year-old designer and illustrator from Hamburg. So this is a nice paragraph that the co-captain has written themselves. Sometimes they do them as like interview style, but this person has written this themselves, so that tells you quite a bit about them, which is always interesting. I'm looking at this and I'm looking at the colours, and I think this has been done partially in marker, which makes me a little bit sad, but I don't know what the rest of it is, so let's not guess any longer. Upcrate presents, now is this loop or dupe? Loop water-based markers. I have two of the same leaflet here. It says pro writing tools. So I'm thinking there may be some of these in here, which doesn't fill me with joy, to be honest. Oh, this is like, it's either mixed media paper or watercolour paper. It is very textured. I don't know if you can see that in the light, maybe if I tilt it slightly. And we've got, it's quite thick as well, it's more like cardstock, and there's 3 sheets of that. So that's nice. It does feel more like watercolour paper. Okay, so we do have a pencil, and it's a Mars Lumograph Black 8B. This makes me happy. This is a good pencil. The Staedtler Lumograph pencils are quite popular. I quite like them. So that's it's quite a dark sketching pencil, right enough, but that might yield some interesting results. We've also got a Stabilo Swano 4906 HB pencil with an eraser on the end. So that is obviously our sketching pencil, which is lovely. And we have an angled paintbrush. Yes, it is Upcrate branded. I don't know if you can see that or not on there. Take it out of the plastic, will probably get on better. Okay, there we go. Let's see if we can show you now. That's cute. I love these branded paintbrushes. I've still got my scroller box one as well. I really like it. So we've got this synthetic brush. Aha, so here's the leaflet that we saw. Pro writing tools, water-based markers, and there's quite a selection of them. I wish I could get excited about stuff like this, but I'm just not. I'm really not. So we have a 2mm nib width, and this is black, so this is maybe going to be like your equivalent of a fine liner or an outliner. It's not really a fine liner at 2mm, but... And we have some lovely colours here, and these are 4mm tip widths. This colour looks gorgeous. Oh, that is a chunky monkey. Ah, right, okay. This is going to be difficult. So what's the paintbrush for then? Are we supposed to move the paint about from these pens? Is that the idea? I don't really know. They're really heavy. They feel like really, really good quality. They feel nice. So I'm assuming these are water-based markers, but they look like they behave like paint markers. Writes on any surface, indoor and outdoor use. Shake well before use. Okay. And coloured fine liners as well. These are triangular shaped ones in a variety of different colours, and they have a 0.4mm line width. intensive colours. Well, we'll be the judge of that, won't we? So that's quite an interesting set of supplies. Again, I always try to be enthusiastic, but I also try to be honest with these, and coloured fine liners are like the last thing that I would particularly want in a subscription box. But we have just had so many pens, and I really don't want any more pens. Right, okay, so let's go into the envelope and see what it says about these supplies. I'm not doubting for a second, though, these are clearly expensive and high quality, like that goes without saying. You can just tell by the, the feel of them, but we will have a swatch out of them and things in just a moment. So we've got a spare nib for, I think it must be the 2, or maybe the nibs are interchangeable. You could use that one for something else. And there's some really cute little bulldog clips here with smiley faces on them. I kind of like that they give us a stationery item every now and then. I've still got my cactus paper clip from one of the other boxes, so they're actually quite cute, and that's something that I'll actually use because I work from home, so I have obviously requirements. Okay, let's see, we've got our bundle of stickers and things. So here is the Upcrate logo that's obviously been done out by the artist. I really enjoy these because it's nice to see how different artists interpret the Upcrate logo, and this is like your postcard, and there's usually a matching sticker as well. There we go, so there's the complementing sticker. We've also got a loop sticker, which is these paint pens, or water-based, whatever you want to call them, and we've got another Upcrate stroke loop sticker, and everything you can imagine is real. I like these little ones with the sayings on as well. And of course we have the Upcrate Battle, which is Think New. That's an interesting topic. I'm quite enjoying the prompts in these Upcrates. I think they're very, very good, and they're not just the bog standard sort of, what you would expect. So let's see what it says about the supplies. These 4mm thick markers provide vibrant colours for a variety of creative uses. The water-based pigment ink, is light, fast and water resistant once dry. When the ink is still wet, they can be mixed together or spread on the surface. There you go, so that's what the paintbrush is for. So it's acrylic ink, is what I'm getting from this, because it does say acrylic marker, but it says that it's ink, so it's acrylic ink. Wow. Synthetic Dagger brush. This medium handled Dagger brush has the finest fibres. They have optimal elasticity features being suitable for all paint mediums such as acrylics, oils, etc. So that's supposed to say paint mediums, and there should be some sort of punctuation in between here. Okay, never mind. The paint holding capacity is excellent. When rinsed out well, the fibres will retain its original shape. The Dagger brush head enables you to move it into corners. Is it Vang Universal Paper? 300 GSM, told you it was thick. Universal Natural White Paper, suitable for all wet media, including acrylic, gouache and watercolour techniques. Okay, they have 2 sides with 2 different textures, so you can use either side as well. The front has a fine grained surface, and the back side is a flat matte surface, which makes it easy to erase charcoal. Paper is glued on 4 sides. Fine liners. Fine liners have a unique design with a triangular barrel. A unique design. I've seen quite a lot of triangular fine liners, so I'm not really buying that. Okay, what's unique about them is they've got an obbly bobbly lid on them. I don't know if you can see that or not. So that's just for gripping to take it off. Other than that, it looks like a lot of triangular fine liners that I've seen. So I've picked out quite a pretty colour though. Fine liners have a unique design with triangular barrel, ergonomic writing experience, super fine 0.4mm metal clad tip, ventilated cap. It's available in sets of 4, 10 and 12 colours, and we have the 10 colours, which is quite nice. We do have quite a variety of colours, which is always a bonus. The Lumograph is actually listed in the paperwork as a 6B, but it's an 8B that we've got. I think that might just be a typo. High quality drawing pencil, special lead formulation, containing a high proportion of carbon for matte jet black results. Lead diameter is approximately 4.5mm. HB pencil is a classical red painted pencil. PVC and latex free eraser on top. Okay, the Captain Crate tip for these markers, it says checkouts Circa 6 how to do video to see what can be done with a brush when the acrylic ink is still wet. When you shake your marker, count until 10. Your marker is then ready for the first pump action. Always seal the marker with the cap after use. So I think they're expecting us to manipulate this ink around on the paper before it dries. Now that sounds good in theory, but how practical is it going to be? So we're going to have to test that out, I think. And we'll get these fine liners and everything swatched out as well. Alright, so I've taken one of the sheets of paper and split it in half and flipped it over. So this is like the smoother side, and then I've got the textured side, because I would like to see how each of the items behave on the different textures of the paper, and that maybe help you decide which side would suit you best. So we'll start with our HB pencil, and these are usually pretty standard fare, but you can see the pattern it's leaving because it's the texture of the papers coming through, and I really like that. That's something that really appeals to me, but a lot of people don't like it. And strangely they're behaving in sort of the same way on both sides. This side is definitely less bumpy though. That's actually got quite a decent pencil, I quite like that. So then we've got the Lumograph, which is pretty dark. So you can see it next to the standard graphite pencil. It is very, very black. And that is the idea, so that's the 8B. It's not, I actually thought it would be softer than that. I thought the core would feel softer, so it actually feels quite substantial. That's nice. Right, let's do the fine liners. I'm just not a fan of fine liners at all. These feel quite cheap and plasticky. They don't feel like an expensive supply, and to me, quite frankly, I don't really rate them as art supplies. I mean, there are people that are very talented with fine liners. I am not one of those people, and it's probably why I take a sort of dislike to them. To me, these are stationery supplies. These aren't art supplies, but realistically, you can make anything into an art supply, so this is leading me to hope that when our scroller box arrives in the next week or two, that it's not pens that's in that either, because I will actually just give up all hope. I have to say these colours are very vibrant, and the actual delivery of the ink is good. You know, the laydown's quite consistent, and the tip on these feels quite sturdy. You know, it's quite sort of robust. Sometimes when you pick up fine liners, especially ones that have got narrower nibs, you sometimes feel that if you pressed a little bit hard it would damage the nib, or worse, the nib would disappear into the pen, and I've had that happen before. But although the plastic casing feels quite cheap, the nib feels really good quality on these. So if you are a fine liner person, I think that you would be quite satisfied with a set of these, you know, if that's your bag. I normally use the Staedtler Tri-Plus fine liners, and funnily enough they have a triangular barrel as well. They are not as triangular as this. The edges on this are quite sort of sharp, not sharp, but they you know, the Staedtler ones are a lot more rounded on the angles, and they're quite comfortable to hold. But these are absolutely fine. Get it? Absolutely fine. Oh my goodness, jokes just get better. Yep, the laydown on these seems to be fine, so that's always something. So we've got brown and black as well, which is quite good. I'm really not feeling much of a difference on these paper sides. Like they don't seem to pose any problem in terms of actually working on the surface. Right, so let's get to these loop markers now. Okay, they don't take too long to prime, which is nice. And there we go. The ink is sitting on the surface of the paper, and I just want to see what happens. Yeah, you can totally move that about. Wow. And you've actually got quite a lot of time to do things with it as well. Okay, so we know that we can manoeuvre it, but it is starting to dry now. I'm just gonna... Yeah, okay, that's starting to dry in now. Okay, that's good to know. That's grand. They don't take too long to prime as well. They do just feel like paint markers, even though they are acrylic ink. And for those of you that are Posca pen users, these will feel quite natural to you. I actually really like the packaging, and they feel like good solid markers. I just don't know how much that I would be using them. Anyway, I'll get the rest of these primed and we can have a little look at the colours. Here comes the colour. Now the rest of these are 4mm tips, so we're going to have much wider lines with these. I'm not really a fan of the, I mean the tips are really rounded on them. Focus. And that can be a blessing and a curse, if I'm honest. And because this is ink, again, it seems to go down equally well on the smooth side and the rough side of the paper. So I think this is really, you know, the texture of the paper thing, it's really just a preference. It's not actually going to be like performance affected in any way. I would definitely say though the ink seems to be sitting a little bit longer on this smoother side, so that might give you more time to manipulate it with the brush if that's what you wanted to do. Nice flesh tone here. I like the feeling, I'm gauging this as I go along, and I actually like the feeling of the marker better on the smooth side, which kind of makes sense as well. I kind of fear sometimes that using really textured paper with things like that might tear up the nibs a lot quicker. So that's just something to think about if it's an item that you're planning on using longer term. That's a really nice shade of blue. The colours are really vibrant, and again with being ink, that's, you know, you would expect that. And yeah, I quite like that. So I'm going to test the white out on this area here where I've sort of smudged the ink about. That's nice and dry now. So this is quite quick drying. If you're wanting to work in layers, work over the top of it. Let's just see. Okay, we'll let that dry and see if we can go back over it, because I think you could build that up to make it more opaque, especially against the black. So we'll let that dry and see what it does. Okay, so that's quite an interesting set of supplies. I am not particularly excited about them. It's just the fine liner thing, really. I do quite like these pens though, and I think that they are interesting in that it is acrylic ink instead of just normal paint. So I don't really know what the advantage is to using acrylic ink over normal Posca paint pens, which is just water-based paint. So I might do a little bit of research and a bit of digging and have a look into these a little bit more. They do say that they are, you know, you can use them outside and whatnot. So I don't know if anybody would use them outside for anything other than graffiti, which, you know, you don't want to endorse that unless it's in a licensed space. So with the prompt, that's quite interesting. So the phrase think new, that could lead you to thinking about design concepts for things, anything that's different to the way things used to be done. And you can apply that to pretty much anything. So that is a very, very wide prompt, and that can be interpreted pretty freely. So I don't think we're going to be stuck for ideas. Number one, because we do have a selection of mediums. I would heavily favour the pencil myself, and maybe use a little bit of this acrylic ink if I was doing the Upcrate battle, which I'm not. I wouldn't really feel the need for the fine liners unless I wanted a specific colour. So there's lots of options in terms of the different mediums that are available to you, and you're really not stuck with a limited colour palette as well, which is nice for a change, because quite often we are quite limited with the colour that's available to us. So I think there's plenty of scope to do a lot with that prompt. I'm just going to come back to this white here and see if it'll take some more, and it is taking more. It's also trying to take up what's underneath it as well, so I think you have to go quite lightly on that. Again, probably get on better on the smoother paper, I would think. And that's actually picking up, I don't know if you can see that or not, that's actually picking up the black ink. So although it's touch dry, it's actually going on to the nib and dirty in the nib. So that's something just to take note of if you are going to use the white over the top of any of the other colours, that you might get a bit of transfer. And obviously black's the worst one it can happen with, but you should be able just to sort of clean that off, you know, by giving it a little bit of a wipe. Still there. God, I've ruined my pen already and I've not done anything with it yet. There we go. Right, okay. So there's something else for you to not worry about because I've worried about it for you. Oh, goodness me. I'm just putting these fine liners away, and it actually says on the packaging here for school and office. So, yeah. Alright, so let's have a quick recap then. In our January Upcrate, we have our art by our featured artist, which is Sarcastic. We have the matching postcard and the sticker. We have a selection of other stickers. And we have our very cute bulldog clips, which I'm kind of in love with a little bit. A set of 10 Corres fine liners. Our 8B Mars Lumograph pencil, which is probably my favourite thing in this box. A pretty standard HB pencil that's good enough to use. Our little angled paintbrush here, which I will need to clean off before I forget about it. And this selection of the Loop acrylic ink markers, which have the potential to be quite good fun, I think. We have our Upcrate battle prompt, which is Think New. And we have our list of supplies in our little envelope that tells us all about everything. And in addition to that, we have this information sheet on the loop markers, the spare nib for the black marker pen, and 3 sheets of this universal paper, which I would describe as watercolour paper. I wouldn't even say it's mixed media paper, but it's very, very high quality paper. I like it very much. And that is your Upcrate box for January. I want to thank you very much for watching, and we shall see you very soon back in the cave for another video. Have a great day everyone, and bye for now.